not a high moment for me, but I remember when Q-Tip put out his first album and came on live MTV with me, and no one showed me the video prior, but you know that militant I became because of X-Clan, she never left. And when I saw all these, you know, semi-naked black women in the video, I was like, what's going on, Tip? Like, why are you gonna do that to us? And I didn't mean it as disrespect. I meant it as the reality I felt it. Like, what happened? You Tribe Called Quest, why they naked? You know, that's how I felt. And the people who hired me knew how I felt. They knew my mouth, that's why they hired me. But in this case, it backfired because I really shouldn't have. I should have thought about it. It was a moment where this person who was a friend of mine was launching their solo career. I didn't get the bigger picture. I just got my little feeling, right? And that's a moment I really regret on TV. I wish I'd been more gentle and more understanding, and I wish I'd leaned into the celebration more than the criticism. Prince called me after that interview and was like, girl, you rotisseried that brother. And I was like, no, I didn't, did I? Because in the moment, it didn't feel like it, except I saw Tip's face. And I looked over and saw his manager's face, and I was like, I done did something very wrong. I didn't have a real understanding of my power in that moment, right? And I think maybe in the moment we never do. So it's important to always be doing your best. And I thought that was my best at the time. Like, let me help the brother out. Like, don't. Yeah, it was the wrong forum. MTV was too big of a stage for me to have that conversation with him on. And I wish I had brought it down and made it more one-on-one and had, anyway, you can't go back and change it, but it certainly made me go forward with a little edit button in my mouth, and other people benefited from that. But I couldn't undo that moment, and we were live all the time. Teen Summit was live, MTV was live. There were things that would come out and be like, well, it's out, it's gone. The good thing is it didn't get repeated, right? It wasn't taped. They weren't just gonna play it over and over. If you saw it, you saw it. If you missed it, oh well. But there were so many great moments, like when Dre and Snoop rolled into Times Square in the Lowriders, when they were, I think it was like a Chronic reunion. I don't remember what it was, but it's so funny, I don't think about this stuff much. I mean, my life is inundated with my health, with my child, you just go on, right? But when you have to stop and somebody asks you about it and you look back, I go, wow, I had a lot of really amazing things happen in my life. I didn't know. I don't think I had an idea. I mean, we didn't have social media, right? People couldn't get to us and say anything. It was like, if the network wanted you to be in touch with people, you were, and if they didn't, you weren't. I caught 8 boxes of mail, 11 boxes of mail when I left MTV that was fan mail that I never saw. And then it went into my mom's garage because I was taking care of my grandma the last few years of her life, and I still didn't have time to open it. And 20 years later, I'm finally opening that mail and really understanding the impact, you know, that I had on people at that time, and what feels like is ongoing. And I'm super grateful for it that I was totally unaware of it. And that's weird. It's like I've been living in a completely different world from everybody else. But I'm grateful, you know, I'm grateful for it because it allows me to have a voice still. It allows me to use that trust and familiarity and love that I bred for so long with, you know, my people and more, and now have something really vital to talk about, like health and breast cancer prevention and awareness and getting your life together. And I can talk to people who are 15 years and more younger than me and say, hey, here's how you avoid this. You know, don't be the person walking on a path who steps on a tack and doesn't warn anybody behind you. That's whack, to quote a hip hop phrase. That's whack. Tell people what you're experiencing. Share your mistakes so they can avoid making the same ones. Let them make their own new ones, but don't let them be the same old ones. There's a tack. Go get a mammogram.